Hi everyone and welcome to this episode of the Kaz channel. In this episode we are going to go on a scenic train ride. So one Saturday morning in September of 2022 I took my family to Corinth, New York to take a ride on the Saratoga, Corinth, and Hudson Scenic Railroad. Getting there wasn't that bad. I have heard people saying that it was a little hard to get to because it's not very well marked. I found that to be the opposite. Google Maps took us right there to the entrance of their road. It's a dirt road, just so you know, and it does have a sign at the entrance telling you you've arrived. They have a small shed slash station there where you need to pick up your tickets before you get on the train. The station is a tight squeeze inside no matter what size you are. Inside are a few tables and shelves with merchandise. Got some toys over there. Oh, different bins here.
Oh, it's not Delaware Hudson, it's on there.
Saratoga, Corinth, and Hudson. I went for the tray of pins. I plan on getting a different one each time we come back. My wife got me an early birthday present, this SC&H logo pin. So there are two regular passenger cars, one being a coach class and the other first class. There's also their open air car, as well as a baggage car and an old looking passenger car at the rear of the train. I'm not sure what those last two cars are used for. You'd have to ask one of the employees. Maybe they're for the food and drinks they serve or maintenance of the train itself. I'm not sure.
So, funny little nickname for that, and I believe we have another one coming in from Boston, so we'll have a lot of more riding choices coming momentarily.
If you go to the website to purchase tickets, I think that's the only way you can do that. They recommend that you arrive 45 minutes ahead of time. That sounds about right. We got there about 40 to 35 minutes ahead of time, and there was a good crowd there of about 10 to 20 people. I'm saying that's a good crowd considering that the amount of people that are limited to each ride. No, exactly.
Questions at all, please feel free. Corey knows a lot about the line. He knows more about the line than I do. We both know quite a bit about the train itself. So yeah, any questions you have, let us know. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
No, absolutely. Thank you.
Kind of all the questions
Looking forward to that, definitely.
about trains.
But yeah, we've got a bunch. I know next week we have. There's a vineyard down in Greenfield Center. That is
We have some iced coffees today, folks, so if anybody's interested, we have a variety. Let us know.
If it's not cold enough, you can step in Annie Vestibule and just.
And they
Go in the open air, right?
The beaver, another beaver dam.
So we'll enjoy the ride.
Cold brew and a variety of different creamers.
Corey's been here since May.
Wednesday. This gentleman here is a real estate Friday.
Past, we call a station marker as white sand. That's actually where they got all the sand for the Delaware and Hudson, for all their locomotives, as well as for cement in the capital region as well. Yeah, if you have any questions though, please feel free to ask.
It seems like all you New York Railroad people know each other, so.
Yeah, it's weird because we're not really in competition with each other. You know,
Right.
We like to support each other.
Cool.
Even our owner has stuff on there. Yeah, the Cooperstown and Charlottetown has got stuff down there.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
another scenic railroad. It's just, we all have different scenery and we all love trains. So.
The employees were very friendly and knowledgeable. Some are volunteers who love trains and know a lot about them and the history of the engine and the rail line itself. The two conductors working that day knew so much about this train, trains in general, and the history of the rail line.
In the 1930s, Delaware and well, as we all know, something big happened in the 1930s called the Great Depression, and the Delaware and Hudson Railroad was very much struggling to keep trains running. They may have been a king railroad of anthracite coal, but they weren't necessarily the king of passenger railroading. So anywhere they could, they decided to close off little branches and stuff like that for passenger service and save some extra money where they could so they could stay afloat. So the Adirondack branch here, they decided to cut.
Where? Oh, it's up here. Look, that's where they had water. You get water from there? Yeah. In cups? The open air car is a flatbed car where they made a railing with lumber and chain link fencing. There are picnic tables to sit at, a canopy for shade and to keep rain off passengers, and lights strung up for some nice lighting, some ambiance lighting. I swear that gentleman leaning up against the railing there looks like the actor Jeffrey Rush. You get a choice of cars to choose from when you order your tickets online. The open air car, the coach car, which we chose, and the first class car. Now I'll tell you the reasons why we chose coach class. First, I'm cheap. I like to say I'm frugal. I don't like to spend money unnecessarily, and I like to get as much as I can for my dollar. That being said, coach class, I believe, was the cheapest. You'll have to go to the website to see the prices for first class and the open air car yourself. But coach class was also the most comfortable, we found. The chairs were very cushy. They reclined and had footrests that swung up. You could very easily fall asleep and take a nap in them if you really wanted to. Well, first class, while you got your own private table, you had to sit in upright metal seats. That didn't seem too comfortable for a 90-minute ride, in my opinion. The open air car, while it is a cool concept, you are at the mercy of the elements and the weather on that day. It was very brisk that morning, as it is that time of year in the Adirondacks, where we are. Another drawback to the open air car I saw was that because the car is right behind the engine, you do need to deal with the natural noise it makes, the noise that the engine makes. Also, the warning horn as it passes over crossings, and the smell of the diesel exhaust. If you're okay with standing and looking over the railing or sitting at a picnic table for the ride, then this is a great choice to see the scenery go by. It was actually really nice. They do mention all of this on their website, so you can't say you haven't been warned before you arrive.
Who puts that down?
Track sensors.
Apparently, Teddy Roosevelt rode that line south in a private train from North Creek, where he found out President McKinley died. One of the conductors, who was a volunteer, we found out worked with my father-in-law at the Adirondack Scenic Railroad based in Utica, New York. He was a very, very, very tall man, 7 feet 2 inches tall. I don't usually tell the Mrs. Kaz she can't do anything, but I was pretty adamant that she not ask that conductor how tall he is and if he ever played basketball. But the 90-year-old man sitting next to us did. I guess when you're in your 90s, you don't need to care what you say. Just say it. The view was very nice, very rustic, with views of the, I have no idea how to pronounce this word, but the Calle de Ceres River and various swampland in Saratoga County. I took the minicaz to the open air car several times. We didn't stay too long since we didn't pay for that car, but the employees said it was okay to step out there and check it out. Eventually we had to go back. Instead of turning around or having the engine pull the cars from the opposite end, it just went in reverse and pushed us backward. From what we were told, the engine was originally used within a rail yard, pushing and pulling cars around at a slow 5 to 10 mile per hour rate. Because of that, it doesn't have any sort of speedometer. It's estimated that we were going about 20 miles per hour the whole way. They can tell this several ways. We were told they have a radar gun on board to tell them the speed. They can also use a cell phone with a mapping app to estimate the speed. One thing I learned while riding the Alco 5 was what a charcuterie was. The staff was selling extra charcuterie boards the first class didn't buy. They were boxes similar in size to the boxes sushi at a supermarket comes in. They contained cheese and grapes, and I think crackers and sliced meat. Well, I hope you enjoyed this train ride on the Saratoga Corinth Hudson Scenic Railroad. We're disembarking here and are going to have a lunch in Corinth. Thanks for coming to this episode of the Kaz channel. Please like and subscribe. Please go to archangelproductions.org where you can watch more episodes of the Kaz channel, the Mini Kaz channel, and check out CEC Upstate. The Mini Kaz is Chuck E. Cheese and animatronic channel. So we really liked this scenic railroad. Scenic railroads really aren't that common in upstate New York. I really don't think they're really that common all over the United States, but there's one in Utica, and there's the one here, and And I think that's it. As far as I know, there's not one up in North Creek. North Creek has what they call rail bikes. This is the closest one to us, and we really liked it. It's close. It's in Corinth, New York. If you live in the Albany, Saratoga, if you live near Vermont, in Vermont, this is a really great scenic railroad to go to. The employees were super, super, super nice. They made us coffee, and I don't drink coffee, and Mrs. Kaz does, so they made these specialty coffee drinks with like caramel and other fancy stuff. But yeah, anyway, if you are in the Saratoga area, in Lake Luzerne, if you're able to come up to Corinth, head on to the Saratoga, Corinth, and Hudson Scenic Railroad. I really highly recommend this. This was a lot of fun. It's a 90-minute ride, which is plenty long for a scenic railroad that goes back and forth along a river, and you get to see some wetlands, swamplands in Saratoga County. They also have a Christmas train, I see, that we are planning on going to in November and December. So check that out. Offhand, I don't know what, as I'm recording this, I don't know what their website is. Just do a Google search for Scenic Railroad, Corinth, New York, or do a search for the Saratoga, Corinth, Hudson Scenic Railroad. That should get you to their website. But again, I really recommend this. This is a lot of fun. Get there early to get a good seat, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.